Let's mount the new Starlink Mini on a motorhome. Hey folks, welcome back to our channel. As you would have seen in the last video, if you watched it, we recently got this Starlink Mini and we are going to be mounting it now. So one of the advantages of the Mini is it's way more portable to be able to travel and use and things like that. For example, recently I've just moved house and this is what I'm actually using at the moment, just while my broadband company ports over our account and stuff like that. So I'm using this at the house that we're staying at now. But I also want the ability to just travel with this and stick it in hand luggage or in a suitcase or something like that. And so when I was looking at various options in terms of how to mount it on my motorhome, some guys get like a puck, a magnetic puck that you can use on the pole bracket. And that works if you've got a normal van, like a panel van conversion or something like that. But on a motorhome where you have an aluminium roof, obviously the magnet's not going to work for that. So you have to have something that you can either screw down or glue down. And I wanted something that was neat but also secure. And to be honest, I wasn't entirely satisfied with gluing a little puck down and whether that would actually hold this thing if you're driving at speed and stuff like that. So went looking around, and of course there are people that have already 3D printed little housing for the Mini. So this, I just found these guys on Etsy and looks like a copy of the one that I think the Everlanders originally made for the version 2 or version 3 of the Starlink dish. Very elementary. Obviously they've 3D printed it in 4 sections and then glued it together using like a dovetail join there. It's pretty solid and also pretty light. Quite like it. It's well made. It's got this little thing here which allows you, if you take the dish out of it, to store your cable so that your cable's not coming into contact with water, which is pretty good, and that fits in there nicely. It's also got a little channel here so you can pass your cable underneath that and it has room to move, and you can also just leave that open, not seal it, so that because you inevitably will get water in here, that the water can then flow out of there and not just pool up inside here. But if you drop the dish in here, it fits in perfectly. It's really well done, nice and flush and protected. And then it has these little brackets that go over each corner. So there's 4 of them, and they go with just a little grub screw in the corner like that. So quite impressed with how it's made. The one thing that I'm not 100% sure on is how well this bit here, where the screw just goes into the actual 3D printed housing, how long that'll last, because inevitably I'll probably end up taking this off for special trips and stuff like that. So we'll see. What I might end up doing one day is actually drilling this out with a bigger diameter and then getting, forget what those things are called. They use them when they make furniture, where it's like quite an aggressive screw that you put in, and in the middle of it, it's got a thread. I can't remember what that's called. If anyone remembers what they're called, put it in the comments down below so that I can find those. But I'll probably end up doing something like that, because then you put it into the plastic once, and then you've got a metal thread that you can then work with thereafter, which will be much more durable than bringing a scrub through in and out of this plastic. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. But yeah, overall pretty pleased with how that looks. So the plan is that I'm just going to Sikaflex this down. I'll just put a little bead all the way around, Sikaflex this housing down, obviously with the cable through, because not going to, can almost squeeze it through, but pretty much the cable is going to live in here once it's in, and there's no taking the cable out once it's in. So I'll glue this down, and then I'll be able to put the dish on and off as I need to, depending on travel and all that sort of stuff. So that's how I'm going to mount it. In terms of actually powering it, what I'm going to try, I haven't even tested this yet, but I've seen a few guys on YouTube talk about certain cables. So the big thing with the dish is, with this Starlink dish, is it can be powered from 12 to 48 volts, I believe. The adapter that it comes with, that you plug into mains, I think is a 30 volt adapter. So you can get away with a fairly thin cable, and the gauge of that cable that it comes with is very, very thin. It's a 10 meter cable or 15 meter cable. It's pretty long, too long to use on 12 volts because it's so thin. This is a what is it? It says on the side here, it is a 18 gauge cable. So more than the original that comes with that, and it's powered by USB-C. And so I've seen a few guys review this exact cable. It's just from Amazon. I'll put it in the description down below so you can find it. But guys reckon that this is fine. I think it's a 2-meter cable, which is plenty for what I need. I actually don't need 2 meters, kind of just over 1 meter, I reckon, from where I'll be powering it from USB to where the dish will actually be sitting. But I've got a 2 meter just so I have a bit of spare. And 2 meters is really not that far for 12 volts. And then I've got this made by Ugreen, which is a very popular brand that makes some really good gear. And it's a 100-watt little cigarette lighter to USB adapter. So this is what I'm going to be trying to power the Starlink dish up with, and I'm pretty sure it'll work quite well. We're going to test it shortly and just make sure before we actually mount it. But I'm going to mount this in a way that I can change the cable if I need to in the future. So yeah. And this, one thing I didn't mention is that this housing it does actually come with magnetic feet that bolt on here, which you can use on like a panel van conversion. So it has 4 feet that you can just plop this onto a van if you have a steel roof on your van, like a panel van conversion or something, which then makes this quite attractive to be able to remove and stuff like that. But I'm just going to Sikaflex it down onto my van roof because I can't use a magnet, so that'll be fine. Yeah, let's get after it and get this installed. Okay, so this is the cupboard where we're going to be bringing the wire for the Starlink through the roof here. And originally I was going to power it using that cigarette lighter cluster there, which has a good feed. So those Wagos there are on formal wires which go directly down to the system. So it should be pretty good voltage there. But in testing using this thing, we found that it actually doesn't work very well. It's a little bit unstable, so what we're actually going to do is just try and cut this and just put it directly into those Wagos there rather than via the cigarette lighter. So just go directly to the 12-volt battery. Okay, so here's an example of this wire. So this is just a section that I've cut out just to test. Got the outer, which is the earth or the ground, and then the inner, which is the positive. So this is going to be much better. We can just put that straight into a Wago, but we're going to go for this approach rather. It's going to give us a much better connection than using that cigarette lighter. Alright, so this is roughly where the Starlink is going to be, between panels, and we're going to put a hole here to send the gland through. Just need to measure and make sure that we line it all up, but that's basically where it's looking. Okay, so we've drilled the hole. So we're going to pass the cable through and then glue the gland on. But first, actually, we're going to prep this surface here. Got isopropyl, and we're going to clean this all up and get that ready for gluing it down. Okay, and here we go. We've got the bracket mounted. The cable run through there, and we've got it on just in the nick of time to start spitting with rain. Some conduit just to keep the cable secure, and the gland, the hole through the roof there. So just need to tidy this up a bit, but otherwise pretty pleased with that. We'll let it dry and then we'll put the dish in tomorrow or at some point. Alright, so here's the finished result. So the cable comes through here, through there, through that hole in the roof behind all of this stuff, comes down, and then we've got them connected into here with Wagos and going through there. And we decided while we were at it, might as well just put in a switch so we can kill Starlink when we need to. So we've got that wired to a little rocker switch, and coming off that directly off 12 volts. So pretty pleased with that. Keen to see how it goes. So I've got the dish here, just waiting for the housing to dry, and then we'll chuck this up there and it'll be running. Alright, so now is the time to do the final install of the Starlink Mini. Obviously plugged it in there, and I'm going to leave this base plate on here. I haven't got a network cable, RJ45 or whatever it is that it takes up here for a router inside. I may put one in. We're going to see how it goes. So let's get this in and secure it. fits nice and snug and smooth in there. As you can see, I've got the cable secured with some trunking, and the gland is now secure and tight on there. So this comes with these little brackets. I'm going to put those on. I'm hoping that with two on the far side here, that I won't ever have to take those out, and I can get this out by just taking two out on this side. So we'll see. And then do the final turn on. So it should be powering on now. I'll get onto the app and we'll check it. Okay, so let's check Starlink. So first off, yeah, we are connected to it on the Wi-Fi. You can see there. And if we go to the Starlink app, we are online. That's what I like to see. And then if we go back here and search for speed test, let's do a quick speed test. This is just on my driveway at home, but let's have a look and see what we're getting. Relatively slow compared to what I would sometimes expect. There could be a few reasons for that, in case anyone's wondering and not sure why that would be slightly slower than expected. One of the reasons could be that there's quite a lot of traffic and quite a lot of people with Starlink in the area, and so there's just contention for it. Another reason could be that there's some coverage overhead here that is affecting it. There are a few trees around here, so maybe it's not got sort of the best clear line of sight. But there's a number of reasons that could affect the speed, but it is working. It's faster than the 5G antenna that I've got, and I'm sure that in certain remote locations it'll be much better than the 5G antenna that I've got. And there we have it, folks. Starlink Mini installed on my van. I'm pretty pumped for that. To be honest, I've not had great success with the motorhome Wi-Fi 5G system that I've had. I'm using a giff-gaff line on it, which maybe that's the problem, but it just seemed to get issues with the speed all the time, and we pay for the unlimited option for that just because with 4 of us in the van, pretty heavy users, the 2 kids love watching videos and stuff like that, streaming stuff, so we need quite a lot of data, and Starlink just seemed like the logical step. Obviously we're going to be planning trips to Europe and things like that, in which case faffing with Sims and stuff like that gets to be a bit of a pain. Also, we do all of the shows, so it helps to have good internet for all of that. So yeah, pretty pleased with that. I'm glad I went the route of hard wiring it and also putting a switch in, because I think that's going to make it really convenient and easy to use. So thanks for watching. One other thing, I will link the enclosure for the Starlink Mini that I used down in the description below. Hopefully that's helpful for you. And if you have any questions or anything, or if you're interested in having us install a Starlink Mini on your van, then reach out to us. We'd love to help you. But otherwise, we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Cheers.